My beloved child, come and be still with me for a time. I want you to listen, not with your outward ears, but with the inner ear of your soul, to the sound that your own life has been making. I know what you have heard, for I have been listening with you for a long and wearying season. Your life has not been a beautiful melody. It has been a sad and sorrowful song, a lament played in a slow and mournful minor key. The world has listened to the sound of your life, to the story of your struggles, and they have heard only noise, a discordant and chaotic jumble of random, painful notes that seem to signify a life of failure, of confusion, and of unending pain. And in the quiet, honest moments of your own heart, you have agreed with their assessment. You have listened to the music of your own soul, and you have concluded that this is the only song you will ever know how to sing. You have resigned yourself to being a lament, a dirge, a sad story, a broken instrument incapable of ever producing a beautiful or joyful sound. You have looked at your life with all its sorrow and all its struggle, and you have given up on the very idea that it could ever become a song of praise. But, my child, you have been listening with human ears, ears that are attuned only to the surface noise, to the obvious discords. But I have been listening to your life with the ears of a divine composer, and I have heard something else entirely. I have heard a deeper music, a hidden structure, a purposeful movement that you have not been able to perceive, where you have heard only a sad and sorrowful lament. I have heard the slow, profound, and breathtakingly beautiful introductory measures of a great and magnificent symphony. You believe your life is, and always will be, a sad song. But I have come to you today to announce a great and glorious change in the composition. I have come to declare to you that your life, all of it, is destined to become a magnificent song of praise. Before you can believe in the new song that is coming, we must first sit together in the reality of the sad song you have been living. I do not dismiss your pain or your perception. It has been real, and I have been with you in every dissonant chord. Let us speak first on the harmony or the profound lack thereof. Your life, for so long, has felt like a series of jarring, unresolved, and painful dissonant chords. A sudden tragedy has struck, clashing violently with a rare moment of your peace. A harsh word of betrayal has sounded a sharp, stabbing, painful note against the soft and gentle chord of your trust. Your circumstances have felt like a chaotic and unskilled child, banging randomly and senselessly on a piano, producing only noise, confusion, and a headache for the soul. There has been no harmony. There has been no resolution. There has been no beauty. Just one jarring, painful, and seemingly meaningless chord after another. And you have wondered, where is the composer in all of this noise? And the entire song of your life, it seems, has been played in a minor key. It is the key of sorrow, of loss, of a deep and pervasive melancholy. Even your rare moments of happiness have been tinged with this underlying sadness, this constant, nagging expectation of future pain. You have forgotten what it feels like to live in a major key, the key of vibrant joy, of defiant hope, of resounding victory. The minor key has become your home. It has become your emotional default setting. You have become so fluent in the mournful language of lament that the very sound of a major chord, The sound of true and uncomplicated joy feels foreign and almost untrustworthy to you. The rhythm of your life has been frantic, broken, and exhausting. It has been the anxious, rushed, and breathless rhythm of constant striving, followed by the long, empty, and depleted pause of burnout and despair. There has been no steady, peaceful, life-giving tempo to your days. You have rushed and you have pushed, trying to force the music of your life to a great crescendo, trying to manufacture a victory in your own strength, only to have the music fall apart in your hands, leaving you in a state of silent, defeated stillness. This broken, exhausting rhythm of striving and crashing, of running and collapsing, has left you weary and perpetually out of breath. And what have been the lyrics to this sad song? They have been the cruel and relentless words of your own inner critic. They are the lyrics that have been ghost-written for you by your ancient adversary, the accuser. And the lyrics are a dark and repeating chorus of all your past failures, all your mistakes, all your deepest regrets. The verses of your song tell the stories of your shame, of your weakness, of your inadequacy. And you have sung this sad song to yourself for so long, day after day, year after year, that you have come to believe that its sorrowful lyrics are the truest and most fundamental thing about you. You have looked at this entire sorrowful composition, the dissonant harmony, the minor key, the broken rhythm, the lyrics of failure, and you have seen it as your life's final and complete work. You have believed that this sad song is your destiny, but I am the great composer, the one who sees the entire symphony from the first note to the last. And I tell you a great and glorious secret today. Your lament has not been a mistake. It has not been a sign of my absence or my failure as a composer in the grand and beautiful tradition of my divine music. A great lament is often not the end of the story. You have read the Psalms. You have seen how my servant David poured out his heart in honest, painful lament. A lament is a holy and an honest expression of pain before me. And it is very often the powerful, profound, and emotionally necessary prelude that sets the stage for a great and triumphant song of praise. Your sad song has not been a meaningless dirge. It has been the necessary introduction to your symphony. You heard a series of dissonant, ugly chords, but I heard a passage of profound dramatic tension that I, the composer, I am now about to resolve into a breathtakingly beautiful harmony. You heard a sad, depressing, minor key, but I heard the sound of deep, emotional richness being developed in your soul, a richness that will now make the coming glorious shift to a major key all the more joyful and all the more triumphant. You heard a broken and frantic rhythm, but I heard the sound of a desperate heart, sincerely trying to find its way, a sound of effort that I have always honored. You heard the sorrowful lyrics of your failure, but I heard the honest and beautiful cry of a beloved child, a cry that I have always answered with my grace. Your lament has been heard. It has been honored. It has been a holy and an acceptable offering to me, but its season is now ending. The slow, introductory movement of your symphony is now drawing to a close. And I, the maestro, am now lifting my baton. I am about to change the key. I am about to resolve the dissonance. I am about to introduce a new and glorious melody into your life. And now that you have understood the nature of your life's song up to this point, you must now come to understand the one who has been composing it with a loving and masterful purpose all along. We must now speak of me as the composer of your symphony. You have begun to see, my beloved child, that the sad lament of your past was not a meaningless and random noise, but a holy and necessary introduction to a greater work. But every great composition, even a sorrowful prelude, must have a composer. You have felt for so long that you are living in a world of chaotic, random, and often cruel noise. You have believed that you are a victim of a discordant and meaningless universe. But I want to reveal to you now a truth that will change the way you hear everything. You have been living your entire life inside a great and magnificent symphony, and I am its composer. I know what your life has felt like from your perspective on the ground. It has felt like an orchestra with no conductor, where every musician is playing a different song, in a different key, at a different tempo. The result has been a cacophony, a painful and jarring noise that has assaulted your soul and has driven you to despair. You have listened with all your might for a pattern, for a melody, for a discernible structure in the midst of the noise, and finding none, you have concluded that there is no composer, that there is no plan, that your life is simply a series of unfortunate and random sonic accidents. But my child, you have been listening with your finite human ears, which are not capable of perceiving the deep, complex, and multi-layered structures of my divine music. You have heard noise, but I have always heard a symphony. Where you have heard chaos, I have always heard a divine choreography. I am the great maestro, the divine composer, and have been taking every single sound of your life, even the most painful, the most jarring, and the most dissonant ones, and I have been skillfully and lovingly weaving them into a grand, epic, and breathtakingly beautiful symphonic work, designed for my own glory and for your ultimate good. I hear music where you hear noise. To understand this, you must learn about the different elements of this symphony that is your life. First, every great symphony has a central theme, a recurring and beautiful melody that defines the entire piece and gives it its identity. You, my child, have a unique melody that is your own personal theme. It is the song of the person I created you to be in all your glory. It is a beautiful, magnificent, and soaring melody, filled with notes of your unique gifts, your passions, and your divine purpose. But for a long time, this beautiful theme has been hidden. It has been played very softly, perhaps by a single, quiet instrument in the orchestra, and it has often been completely drowned out by the louder, more chaotic, and more dissonant parts of the symphony. Much of my work as your composer in this past season has been to systematically quiet the other noisy sections of the orchestra so that your true, beautiful, and powerful melody can now begin to emerge and to be heard with a new and stunning clarity. Next, you must understand the orchestration of your life. A great orchestra is made up of many different families of instruments, each with its own unique sound and purpose. So it is with your life. The people, the events, and the circumstances that I have allowed to come into your life have been the different sections of my divine orchestra. The gentle, soaring strings have been the loving relationships and the moments of grace that have provided the beautiful, harmonic foundation for your life. The loud, crashing, and often startling percussion of your trials and your tribulations has provided the necessary dramatic tension and the powerful, rhythmic drive. The sorrowful, haunting, and deeply emotional woodwinds of your grief and your loneliness have provided the profound emotional depth and color, and the triumphant, glorious, and brilliant brass section is now being prepared to enter to announce the arrival of your victory and your vindication. You have seen these things as a random collection of disconnected people and events, but I, the maestro, have been conducting them all, bringing each instrument and each section in at the precise, perfect moment to serve the greater purpose of the music I am writing. You must also understand the purpose of the silence. In a musical score, the rest of moments of measured silence are just as important as the notes themselves. A composition with no rest, no pauses, would be a relentless, breathless, and exhausting assault of sound. The long seasons of silence in your life, the times when you felt that nothing was happening, that I had abandoned you, that the music had stopped completely, were not empty or wasted moments. They were the rest that I, the composer, had intentionally written into your score. They were the moments of sacred pause that were designed to create space, to build a powerful anticipation, and to allow the notes that had just been played to resonate and to sink deeply into your soul. And they were the moments that prepared the way for the powerful new theme that was to come. Your silence was a holy and necessary part of the music, and you must understand the principle of divine counterpoint. In the most complex and beautiful forms of music, there's a principle called counterpoint, where two or more seemingly independent and often contrasting melodic lines are played at the same time. They weave in and out of each other. They clash. They resolve. And in their interplay, they create a rich, intricate, and beautiful texture that a simple, single melody could never achieve. Your inner life has often felt like this. There has been the beautiful melody of your heart's truest desires, playing at the same time as the dissonant, minor key melody of your fears and your failures. There has been the sad melody of your sorrow, playing at the same time as the quiet, hidden melody of my sustaining joy. You have heard this as a clash, as a conflict, as an inner war. But I, the composer, have been skillfully weaving these different melodic lines together in a divine and masterful counterpoint, creating a richness, a depth, and a complexity in your soul that is a thing of profound beauty in my ears. You are an instrument in my great orchestra, and it is not the job of the first violin to understand the entire score. It is not the job of the cello to tell the trumpets when it is their time to play. It is not the job of the flute to question the conductor's tempo. The job of each and every instrument is a simple and a restful one: to keep its eyes on the conductor, to trust his direction completely, and to be ready to play its own unique and beautiful part with all of its heart when the moment comes. I am calling you now, my beloved, to stop trying to be the composer of your own life. Release the exhausting burden of trying to understand every note. Lay down the prideful desire to conduct your own orchestra. Your new role is one of restful, joyful trust. Trust the maestro. Trust that I know exactly what I'm doing. Trust that the grand and magnificent piece of music I am creating with your life is and will be a thing of breathtaking beauty. You have, up until now, only heard the cacophony of the orchestra warming up. You have heard the squeak of a misplayed note, the dissonant sound of instruments tuning, the seemingly random and disconnected noises. But listen, I am now stepping onto the conductor's podium. I am tapping my baton. A holy and expectant hush is beginning to fall over the chaos. And you, for the very first time, are about to hear the different sections of your life begin to come together in a beautiful and glorious harmony. You're about to hear the music, and you're about to finally understand that your life has never been noise. It has always, from the very beginning, been a symphony. You now see with new eyes that you are not a random collection of chaotic noises, but a grand and magnificent symphony, and that I am your divine composer. But this glorious truth does not erase the memory of the painful, jarring, and often ugly sounds you have endured throughout your life. I know the question that burns in your heart. You ask me, as my father, my composer, if you are so good and so masterful, why did you write such painful, dissonant chords into the music of my life? Why could my song not have been a simple, happy melody? We must now speak on the holy and necessary purpose of the dissonant chord. For it is in understanding this that you will find the key to seeing the beauty of your entire story. I know how these dissonant chords have felt to you. They have been the moments of your most intense pain, of your deepest confusion, of your most profound spiritual and emotional agony. They are the chords that have made you want to cover your ears and to stop listening to the music of your own life altogether. They are the moments of a sudden, tragic loss. They are the moments of a sharp and unexpected betrayal. They are the moments of a humiliating public failure. They have felt like mistakes in the musical score, like a cruel and unskilled composer playing a series of wrong, ugly notes, creating a sound that is grating to the soul and an offense to the ears. You have hated these sounds, and you have wished only for them to stop. But my child, you must understand a fundamental and profound principle of all great and moving music. A composition that consists only of simple, pleasant, and endlessly consonant chords is a childish and ultimately boring piece of music. It is a nursery rhyme. It may be pleasant for a moment, but it has no depth. It has no drama. It has no emotional power. It cannot move the soul to tears or to great joy. It is the skillful, purposeful, and masterful use of dissonance of tension, of clashing notes, of unresolved chords that gives great music its power, its depth, its character, and its ability to move the human soul to its very foundations. The painful, dissonant chords of your life were not my mistakes. They were my masterpieces of musical tension, intentionally written into your score to create something of breathtaking and eternal beauty. This is how your pain creates beautiful tension. Let us look together at some of the specific dissonant chords I have written into your life, and let me reveal their musical purpose. You have endured the long, sorrowful, and sustained chord of grief. This chord, which has felt like an endless, single note of pain, has been used by me to create a profound depth and a melancholy beauty in your soul's music, like the deep, rich, and resonant notes of a cello in an orchestra. Your grief has added a richness, a pathos, and a profound humanity to your song that a life of constant, uncomplicated happiness could never have possessed. Okay? It has made the music of your life not just pretty, but truly, deeply beautiful. It has given your soul a new and stunning capacity to resonate with the sorrow of the world, and therefore, to minister my comfort to it. You have endured the jarring, crashing, and percussive chord of your great failure. This is the chord that has made you feel so much shame, the one that seemed to bring your entire song to a crashing and humiliating halt. But this dissonant chord was absolutely necessary, for you were trying, in your own strength, to write a proud and self-sufficient melody for your own life. And the jarring chord of your failure was the necessary sound that shattered that prideful melody into 1,000 pieces. It was a moment of musical crisis that created within you a desperate and holy need for a new theme, a new harmony, a new composer to take over the song. Your great failure was a dissonant chord that made you finally cry out for me, the maestro, to intervene. It created the silent space into which the beautiful, consonant, and healing chord of my grace could now finally enter your life. You have endured the long, unsettling, and vibrating chord of your anxiety. It has been a source of great and constant torment to you. In musical terms, it is an unresolved chord, a collection of tense notes that constantly feels like it is leading somewhere but never arrives. It has created an almost unbearable tension in your soul, but this very tension has been profoundly purposeful. It has been building within you, day after day, a powerful and desperate longing for resolution. It has been creating a deep and abiding thirst for my peace. The longer the unresolved tension in a piece of music, the more glorious, the more satisfying, and the more welcome the final. Resolving chord of peace will feel when it finally comes. I have been building your soul's appetite for the peace that I am now about to give you, and you have endured the sharp, sudden, and piercing dissonant note of betrayal. The moment when someone you loved and trusted acted in a way that shattered the harmony of your life felt like the most painful and out-of-place sound of all. But even this, the ugliest of all notes, I have woven into the symphony of your redemption. For this sharp and painful dissonance has trained your spiritual ear. It has taught you, in a way that nothing else could, to recognize true harmony from false harmony. It has made you a connoisseur of authentic love and genuine faithfulness. It has given you a profound wisdom and a discerning spirit that you will now use to help others create beautiful and trustworthy and harmonious relationships in their own lives. The pain of the false note has made you an expert in the beauty of the true one. But this is the most important truth you must understand about my use of dissonance in the music of your life. I never, ever write a dissonant chord into the score without already having written the beautiful, consonant, and perfectly resolving chord that will follow it in the mind of the composer. The resolution always exists before the tension. The pain is never the final note. The struggle is never the end of the story. A glorious resolution is always, always coming. In the great symphony of your life, every chord of sorrow will ultimately resolve into a more profound chord of joy. Every chord of failure will resolve into a more grateful chord of grace. Every chord of anxiety will resolve into a more settled and unshakable chord of my perfect peace. So I'm calling you now to learn to listen to the difficult passages of your life in a new way. When a new dissonant chord of trial or pain sounds in your life, you are no longer to despair and believe that the music has been ruined. You are now to learn to listen with a new kind of holy and confident anticipation. You can learn to say to your own soul, this is a difficult and painful note, but I trust the composer. I know that this tension is purposeful, and I know, with an absolute certainty, that a beautiful and glorious resolution is on its way. Your life's music is not a simple, childish tune. It is a complex, a rich, a deep, and a profoundly moving symphony precisely because of the difficult and dissonant chords you have endured. You have hated the tension, but it is the very thing that will make your final, triumphant song of praise so breathtakingly, so gloriously, and so eternally beautiful. The painful, introductory passages are nearing their end. The great and glorious resolution is about to sound. You now understand the great and profound truth that you are not a random collection of chaotic noises, but a magnificent and complex symphony, and that I am your divine composer. You have begun to see how even the most painful and dissonant chords of your life have been written into your score with a loving and masterful purpose, creating a depth and a tension that will make the final resolution all more glorious. But every great song, every symphony, has more than just musical notes. It has a theme, a story, a set of lyrics that give the music its ultimate meaning, and the story of your life, the very testimony you have lived, with all its sorrow and all its joy, is now becoming the powerful and beautiful lyrics to the song of praise I am writing through you. I know that when you have looked back at the story of your own life, you have seen a narrative that you would rather hide. The lyrics you have lived seem to be words of failure, of sin, of deep regret, and of profound sorrow. You have believed that the words of your story are too dark, too messy, too broken to ever be part of a beautiful song of praise. In your shame, you have tried to erase these painful lyrics from your memory. You have tried to sing a different, happier, and more presentable song about yourself, a song that leaves out the most difficult verses. But the memory of your true story, with all its painful lyrics, has always remained a sad and haunting melody in the back of your mind. But my beloved child, you must understand a great principle of my divine songwriting. A lyric, a word, a story takes its ultimate meaning not from itself, but from the music that accompanies it. The very same words I was lost, I was afraid can be a cry of utter despair when set to a mournful, minor key melody. But those exact same words become a shout of glorious triumph when they are set to a magnificent and rising chorus of redemption. I have not come to you today to erase the painful lyrics of your past, I have come to do something far more miraculous. I have come to set those same lyrics to a new and breathtakingly beautiful music, the music of my unending, unconditional, and redeeming grace. And when your old lyrics of pain are set to my new music of grace, they are transformed. They are no longer swords of your shame. They become a powerful and beautiful testimony to my glory. Your testimony is the words to my song. Let us look together at the lyrics of your life, and let me show you how the new music transforms them. Consider the lyric that has haunted you the most, the verse that tells the story of your greatest failure. You know the one. The time you tried something with all your heart, and it collapsed in a humiliating heap. When you sing this lyric to yourself, accompanied by the sad, solitary music of your own regret. It is a song of profound shame. It is a song that confirms your deepest fears about your own inadequacy. But listen now, as I, your composer, take those same lyrics, the story of your failure, and I set them to the triumphant, orchestral, major key music of my redeeming grace. The story of your failure is no longer a testament to your inadequacy. It now becomes the powerful and dramatic first verse of a great song about my incredible power to restore, to rebuild, and to bring beauty from ashes. The lyric is the same. I failed. I fell. I lost it all. But the music of my grace transforms its meaning completely. It is no longer a song of your failure. It is now the first verse of a song about my faithfulness. And the chorus that follows is, but my God redeemed me. But my God restored me. But my God is the hero of my story. Your greatest failure has now become the necessary setup for the story of my greatest grace in your life. Now, think of the lyrics that describe your weakness. Think of the verses that tell the story of your fear, your anxiety, your struggles with your own broken human nature. When you sing these lyrics to the world's harsh and unforgiving tune of survival of the fittest, and only the strong survive, they are lyrics of deep shame and disqualification. But now, listen as I set these same words, the story of your weakness, to the gentle, tender, and compassionate music of my sustaining power. The lyric, I was weak and I was afraid, is no longer a confession of your cowardice. It is transformed into a beautiful and powerful testimony to the truth of my own word, which declares that my strength is made perfect in weakness. Your confession of weakness now becomes a song that brings immense comfort and hope to all the other weak and frightened souls in the world. It tells them that they are not alone and that there is a God who is not looking for their strength, but is only looking for their surrender. Your weakness, when set to the music of my grace, becomes a source of my glory. And now, we must speak of the hardest lyric of all. It is the story of your sin. It is the verse you dare not even whisper to yourself, sung to the tune of the law, or accompanied by the harsh, condemning music of the accuser. This lyric is one of poor, unadulterated guilt and eternal disqualification. It is the lyric that, on your own, would rightly condemn you. But when you, with a broken and a truly repentant heart, dare to sing this lyric of your sin, and you allow me to set it to the overwhelming, beautiful, and costly music of the shed blood of the Lamb, it is miraculously and gloriously transformed. It becomes the most powerful and most beautiful part of your entire song. The lyric, I was a great sinner, becomes a powerful first line of the great and eternal chorus. But he is a greater Savior. Your honest testimony about your sin does not, in the end, glorify the sin. It glorifies the magnificent, scandalous, and all-powerful grace that has completely and forever washed that sin away. Your darkest lyric has now become the one that showcases my brightest light. And what of the long, mournful lyrics of your grief and your sorrow when they are sung alone, unaccompanied? They are a dirge. They are a funeral march. But when I, the man of sorrows, who is intimately acquainted with all of your grief, come alongside you, and I set those same lyrics to the deep, resonant, and empathetic music of my own compassionate companionship, they are transformed. They are no longer a dirge. They have become a profound and a beautiful song. They become a sacred song that gives a voice to the voiceless. A song that says to other grieving hearts all over the world, you are not alone in your pain, your personal sorrow. When surrendered to me, is transformed from a private pain into a public and healing ministry. Do you see, my child, I am not asking you to deny your story or to pretend you are someone you are not. I am simply asking you to let me be the composer. I am asking you to stop singing your old, sad song to yourself, the song of your failure accompanied by the music of your shame. I am calling you to begin today to sing your new song. It is the song that takes the very real, very honest lyrics of your life story, all of it, the good, the bad, the beautiful, and the ugly, and it dares to set them to the new, beautiful, and triumphant music of my redeeming love. This is your unique song of praise, and no one else in all of creation can sing it, because no one else has been given your unique lyrics. So do not be afraid of your lyrics anymore. Do not hide your story, for when your honest story is combined with my powerful music, it creates a song of such raw authenticity, of such profound hope, and of such glorious power that it will shatter the darkness. It will heal the brokenhearted, and it will bring many of my lost sons and daughters home to me. Your life, all of it, is now becoming a beautiful and a powerful song of praise. You have begun to understand the great and glorious truth that I am the divine composer of your life's symphony. You see that I hear music where you have only heard noise, and that your life story, with all its painful verses, is now becoming the powerful lyrics to a new song of praise. But for a beautiful song to be played, for a magnificent symphony to be performed, there must be an instrument that is capable of producing the notes accurately, with beauty, and with a pure tone. For a long and arduous season, the instrument of your own heart has been out of tune, incapable of playing the glorious music I have written for you. So we must now speak of the divine, patient, and often painful process by which I have been meticulously tuning the instrument of your heart. You have felt this inner dissonance for years. It has been a source of profound frustration and confusion for you. You have felt that your heart was not aligned with your own highest intentions, let alone with my perfect will. In your best moments, you have tried to play the beautiful notes of love, of joy, of peace, and of patience. But what has often come out of your life has sounded harsh, or flat, or completely out of key. You have been deeply frustrated with your own heart, with your own inability to consistently produce a beautiful, harmonious sound. You have looked at yourself and have concluded that you are a broken instrument, a cracked violin, a guitar with rusty strings, fit only to be discarded. But you have seen this inner dissonance as a sign of your permanent brokenness. I have always seen it as the necessary and hopeful process of a master luthier working on a priceless and beloved instrument. I have been the divine tuner, and your long season of trial has been my quiet, focused workshop, and all the pain, all the pressure, all the stretching you have felt has been me, with a loving and infinitely skillful hand, carefully adjusting the strings of your character. I have been preparing you, tuning you, so that you could finally begin to play the new and beautiful song I have written for your life, preparing you to play the new song. Let us look at the strings of your heart and the specific tuning process each one has undergone. First, we had to tune the central and most important string of all, the string upon which all others are based, the string of your will. For years, the will of your heart was tuned to the frequency of your own desires, your own plans, and your own self-protection. It was a sharp and dissonant note, constantly clashing with the deeper, more resonant harmony of my kingdom. And so, through the often painful experiences of surrender, of unanswered prayers, of closed doors, and of your own best laid plans failing, I have been slowly, patiently, and gently turning the tuning peg of your will. I know this process has created an immense tension within you. It is felt, at times, like you were being stretched to the breaking point. But I have been carefully and lovingly tuning your will away from the note of my will be done, and bringing it into perfect, resonant harmony with the beautiful concert pitch of your will be done. And now, for the first time, the strings of your will is beginning to vibrate in a beautiful, peaceful unison with mine. This is the foundational note of all true spiritual music. Next, we had to tune the string of your love in your spiritual youth. The string of your love was tuned to the note of what can I get? It was a transactional love. A love based on feeling. A love that was often self-centered. And so, through the painful dissonance of heartbreak, through the sharp, stabbing note of betrayal, through the difficult and demanding process of being called to love the unlovable and to forgive the unforgivable, I have been stretching and retuning this precious string. I have been tuning it away from the small, thin sound of human affection and toward the deep, rich, and resonant note of divine agape, a selfless, sacrificial, and unconditional love that gives without needing to receive. The painful stretching of this string has increased its tonal range and its capacity to produce a sound of profound and healing beauty. Then there was the string of your hope. Through the long winter of your disappointment, this string had grown slack, loose, and flat when you tried to play it. It produced only a dull, mournful, and lifeless thud. There was no resonance in it, no vibrancy. And so, with a gentle and patient hand, I have been slowly tightening the string, bringing it back up to pitch. I have been doing this by showing you the small signs on the coming dawn, by whispering my promises to your heart, by reminding you of my unchanging faithfulness. I have been tuning your hope away from the brittle note of worldly optimism, which is so easily broken by circumstances, and toward the strong, vibrant, and unshakable note of divine hope, which my word calls an anchor for the soul. And now, for the first time in a long while, a clear and beautiful note of true hope is beginning to ring out from your life. And finally, we have been tuning the string of your faith for a long time. Your faith was tuned only to the frequency of what you could see, what you could feel, and what you could understand with your logical mind. It was a fair weather faith that sang beautifully on calm days, but became harsh and dissonant in the storm. Through the very trials that you have hated, through the silence, through the crucible, through the wrestling with your doubts, I have been meticulously retuning this string to a higher and more supernatural frequency. I have been tuning it to resonate with the unseen realm. I have been teaching it to hold its note of trust even when all the other instruments of your senses are playing a song of fear and doubt. This has been the most difficult string of all to tune, for it has required the greatest tension. But it is now beginning to hold its pitch with a new and formidable resilience. My child, you must understand the heart of a musician as they tune their precious instrument. They do not do it with anger or with impatience. They do it with a focused, loving, and discerning ear. They pluck a string, and then they lean in close, listening intently, not just to the primary note, but to all the subtle overtones, to the quality of the sound, to the length of its resonance. And so it has been with you. During your long season of trial, my ear has been pressed closely to your heart. I have been listening with a perfect and loving attention to the sound of your soul. Every adjustment I have made, every bit of pressure I have allowed, every moment of tension has been in direct response to what I have heard. My goal has always been, and will always be, to bring you into a state of perfect, beautiful, and resonant harmony. You can either fight this tuning process, or you can cooperate with it. To fight the tuning is to tighten up your own soul, to resist my hand when I gently turn the pegs of your circumstances. This only makes the process more painful and more prolonged. But to cooperate with the tuning is to remain soft, pliable, and trusting in my hands. It is to learn to say, even in the midst of the tension, Father, I do not understand why the string must be stretched so tightly, but I trust you, the master musician. Tune me, adjust me, make me an instrument that produces a sound that is beautiful and pleasing to you. But listen now, my beloved instrument, the long, tedious, and often painful process of tuning is now nearing its glorious completion. The strings of your heart, your will, your love, your hope, your faith are now, for the first time, beginning to vibrate in true and beautiful harmony with each other. And with me, the instrument is ready. The dissonant, chaotic sounds of the tuning room are beginning to fade. And now, the time has come for the beautiful and melodic music of your new life to begin. You are finally ready to play your new song. The instrument of your heart, my beloved, has now been meticulously and lovingly tuned. The long and often painful process of seasoning the wood of your character, of stretching the strings of your faith and your hope, of bringing your will into perfect, resonant harmony with mine, is now nearing its glorious completion. The beautiful and redeemed lyrics of your life's testimony have been written. The slow, sorrowful, and dissonant prelude has served its profound and necessary purpose. And now, a holy and expectant hush falls over the great orchestra of your life. The time for the chaotic sounds of tuning is over. The time for the symphony to finally begin has arrived. The great crescendo starts now. Therefore, I, the great composer and the eternal conductor of your life's symphony, now step onto the divine podium. I lift my baton, calling all of creation, both seen and unseen, to a reverent attention, and I declare with a joy that echoes through the corridors of heaven that the season of your lament is now officially and irrevocably over. The mournful, minor key melody of your past, the song of your sorrow and your struggle, it will no longer be the main theme of your life. It has served its purpose, and it is now fading into a beautiful and distant memory. And in its place, I'm now introducing a new theme into your life. It is a new melody, a new harmony, a new rhythm, a new song. And this song, the one that will now define your days for the rest of your life, is a song of praise. The new song is about to be heard. What will this new song sound like? How will you recognize it in your own soul? It will be a symphony of my grace, with many beautiful and interwoven parts. First, you'll begin to hear a new melody of joy, the primary, central melody line of your life, which has for so long been played in a sad and somber minor key, is now shifting. I'm by my spirit, changing the very key signature of your soul, and you'll begin to hear a new melody rising up within your spirit, a melody of authentic, resilient, and often surprising joy. This will not be the shallow, circumstantial happiness of your past. It will not be a forced or manufactured positivity. It will be a deep, resonant, and unspeakable joy that flows directly and supernaturally from my presence, which now abides within you. Your days will no longer be defined by the low, sorrowful drone of your past grief, but by this new, soaring, and breathtakingly beautiful melody of my divine delight. You will find it rising in you at the most unexpected moments, a sudden sense of wonder, a quiet feeling of deep contentment, the return of your genuine, full-body laughter. This is the new melody of your life. Next, you will begin to feel a new harmony of peace, the jarring, dissonant, and clashing chords of your inner world, the chords of anxiety, of fear, of inner turmoil are now beginning to resolve into beautiful, settled, and consonant chords of my peace, where there was once the constant, grating noise of inner chaos. There will now be a new and beautiful harmony, where there was the exhausting tension of striving. There will now be the sweet and gentle resolution of rest. You will begin to feel a new and wonderful alignment between your heart, your mind, and your spirit. The inner music of your soul will no longer be a battle, but a beautiful and harmonious chord, a peace that surpasses all human understanding, a harmony that the world cannot create, and that your circumstances can no longer disrupt. You'll also begin to move to a new rhythm of grace. The old, broken, and frantic rhythm of your life, the rhythm of anxious striving followed by exhausted collapse, is now being replaced by a new and divine tempo. It is the unhurried, steady, confident, and powerful rhythm of my grace. You will no longer live your life in a frantic, breathless rush, terrified of being left behind, nor will you be paralyzed in a defeated and hopeless stillness. You will, by my spirit, learn to walk, to work, and to live in a divine and graceful flow, moving with a quiet confidence when I say move, and resting with a profound peace when I say rest. This new, unhurried rhythm will bring a sense of profound ease, of effortlessness, and of quiet power to your entire life. You will paradoxically accomplish more with the less effort because you are no longer fighting the current, but are now moving in the beautiful and powerful flow of my Spirit. And the Holy Spirit will now begin to give you new lyrics to sing. The old, sorrowful lyrics of your life, the repeating chorus of your regrets, your failures, and your shame are now being replaced. You will find that your very thoughts and your words will begin to change. You will begin to speak a new language, the language of heaven, the language of praise. You will find yourself constantly and naturally noticing my goodness, my faithfulness, and my mercy in your daily life. And your heart will respond with a new song, your inner monologue, which for so long has been a stream of self-condemnation, will now be transformed into a stream of God glorification. You will begin to speak words of thanksgiving, of gratitude, and of praise, not as a religious duty, but as the natural and joyful expression of your transformed and music-filled heart. But you must understand, this new song will not begin in your life with a sudden, deafening blast from the entire orchestra. No, it will begin as a great and glorious crescendo. At first, the new theme will be introduced softly, perhaps by a single, quiet instrument. You will feel a soft note of joy here, a gentle chord of peace there, but it will begin to build. The melody of your joy will grow stronger and more confident. The harmony of your peace will become richer and more complex. The rhythm of your grace will become more steady and more powerful. And more instruments from my heavenly orchestra will begin to join in until the beautiful, triumphant music of your new life swells with the divine and unstoppable power, a power that will completely and forever drown out all the old, sad, and dissonant sounds of your past. And as this new song of praise begins to play through your life, the world around you will hear it. They who once heard only the noise of your pain, the lament of your sorrow, will now be confronted with the undeniable music of my grace. And they will be drawn to it. They will be intrigued by it. They will be healed by it. Your life will become an irresistible symphony of hope that will point every single person who hears it to the one true source of all beautiful music, me, your loving God and your great composer. You will not have to speak a word. The beautiful music of your transformed life will become your greatest and most powerful sermon. So I'm calling you now to listen for this new song in your own soul. It is already beginning. And when you hear its first tentative notes, you must join in with it. You must learn to play the new music I have written for you. You must begin to consciously align your thoughts, your words, and your actions with this new, glorious, and life-giving theme. The long and sorrowful overture of your lament is over. The beautiful and triumphant main theme of your praise is now beginning. The symphony has begun. The conductor is on the podium, and the musical score of your life has been turned to a new and glorious page. This is not a distant hope. It is your present reality. The music of your new life is beginning to sound, and all of heaven and all of earth is now leaning in to listen. The great crescendo has begun. the new song, the triumphant and beautiful song of praise, has been introduced as the central, glorious theme of your life. But my beloved child, you are not merely a passive listener to this new music. You are the very instrument through which this music is now to be played. You must now learn how to consciously and joyfully partner with me, the composer, to play this beautiful symphony for all the world to hear. We must now speak of the practical and holy art of living, a life that is a song of praise. We must speak of how you are to play the music I have written. In your past, you have tried to play music for me through your own strength and understanding. You tried to follow the rigid sheet music of the law, and in your own effort, you often played the harsh, metallic notes of performance, of self-righteousness, and of judgment toward yourself and others. Or, in the depths of your pain, you abandoned the score altogether and played only the dissonant and sorrowful chords of your own lament. This was the only music you knew how to make. But that old way of playing, the way of striving, and the way of sorrow is now over for worship. In its truest and most profound sense, is not just the songs you sing for an hour on a Sunday morning. True worship is the beautiful, harmonious music that your entire life makes as it comes into alignment with my heart and my will. I am now teaching you how to play the music that I have already written for you, to make your very existence your work, your relationships, your thoughts, your actions, a continuous and beautiful song of praise. How do you do this? It is a matter of learning the simple but life-altering disciplines of a musician in a great orchestra. First, and most importantly, you must learn to keep your eyes on the conductor. An instrument in a great orchestra cannot afford to be distracted. They cannot look at the crowd to see how they are being received. They cannot look at the other musicians to compare themselves. They cannot even look down at their own fingers in a state of anxiety. To stay in time, to play with the correct dynamics, and to know when to come in with their unique part. They must keep their eyes fixed at all times on the conductor's baton. My child, I am your conductor, and your first and most important spiritual discipline in this new season is to learn to keep the eyes of your heart fixed on me. Do not be distracted by the opinions of the world, which is the crowd. Do not be distracted by comparing your journey to that of your brothers and sisters. Who are the other musicians? Do not even be overly focused on your own performance, constantly analyzing your every mistake. Your focus must be on me. You must learn to live in a state of constant, loving attentiveness to my leading, my guidance, and my will. This is how you will stay in time and in tune with the beautiful music I am conducting through your life. Second, you must learn to practice the melody of grace, the central, beautiful, and recurring melody that I have written for you to play is the melody of my grace. You must now practice playing this melody in all of your daily interactions. When someone hurts you or offends you, the old song would have instinctively played a sharp, dissonant note of bitterness, of resentment, of keeping a record of wrongs. But the new song I have given you plays the beautiful, warm, and resolving note of quick and total forgiveness when you see someone in need, The old song would have played a quiet note of judgment or a cold note of indifference. But the new song plays the warm, resonant, and open-hearted note of compassion and generosity. You are to practice playing these beautiful notes of grace, of mercy, of patience, and of unconditional love in your daily life, until playing them becomes your new and natural melody. Third, you must remember that you are not a solo instrument. You are a vital part of my great orchestra, which is the body of my Son. You must now learn to harmonize with the other instruments. A symphony is not a collection of competing solos. It is the beautiful blending of many different sounds. And this requires you to listen intently to your brothers and sisters. It requires you to honor their unique sounds, even when they are different from your own. It requires you to blend your own song with theirs, to support their melodies, and to rejoice in their crescendos. This means you must, by a conscious act of your will, refuse to play the ugly, dissonant notes of gossip, of envy, of competition, and of division. These sounds have no place in my orchestra. When you learn to truly love and to serve your fellow instruments, when you learn to honor them above yourself, the harmony that we create together will be a sound so beautiful, so unique, and so powerful that it will astonish a watching world that knows only the jarring noise of selfish competition. And fourth, you must learn to embrace the dynamics of the music I have written for you. Great music is not played at the same volume the entire time. It has dynamics. It has passages that are loud and triumphant, and it has passages that are soft, tender, and quiet. Do not be afraid of the dynamics that I, your conductor, write into the score of your life. There will be seasons where I will call you to play your song loudly and boldly on a public stage, where your testimony will be heard by many. And there will be other seasons where I will call you to play your song softly, tenderly, and almost silently, in the hidden, unseen places of quiet service to a single person. Neither season is more important or more valuable than the other. The great crescendo is not more important than the gentle pianissimo. The only thing that matters is your faithful and obedient response to the dynamics that I'm calling for in each specific season of your life, as you learn to live in this new way with your eyes fixed on me, playing the melody of grace, harmonizing with those around you, and embracing the dynamics I have written for you. A profound and beautiful miracle will occur. Your entire life will become a seamless act of worship. Your work will become worship. Your relationships will become worship. Your parenting will be worship. Your rest will be worship. You will no longer compartmentalize your life into the sacred and the secular. Everything you do, when done with a heart that is in tune with me, will become a beautiful and holy note in the great and magnificent song of praise that your life is becoming. And so, my beloved instrument, my beautiful song, you have come to the end of this journey of revelation from the sad and sorrowful lament of your past, through the understanding of me as the divine composer, through the sacred purpose of the dissonant chords and the redeemed lyrics of your testimony, through the patient tuning of your heart, to the great and glorious crescendo of your new beginning. I have led you, and now you have the simple, joyful instructions for how to play this new and beautiful music for the rest of your days. Rest now in the beautiful music that you have become. The performance is not a stressful one to be feared, but a joyful one to be celebrated. The conductor is infinitely skillful. He is infinitely patient, and he is infinitely loving. He will not lead you astray. He will not ask you to play a note that you are not capable of playing. Simply keep your eyes on him and let the beautiful music flow through you. For your life, all of it, from this day forward, is destined to be a glorious, unending, and magnificent song of praise that brings joy and delight to my heart forever.